The site for the first Klein family reunion was at the Nemacolin Woods Resort. This beautiful setting happens to be very near the Monongahela River Valley, where the Klein family settled in those small industrial towns of Brownsville, Charleroi, Monessen, and Denora. One of the motivations that I had in trying to organize this reunion is that the history gets lost, and unless it's recorded some way, people just don't remember, and we really would not have the advantage of knowing where our roots were. But while we're still here, we older cousins are going to try to share with you some of the stuff that we remember.
I have a story. It's a recent story, but it's for me it's a real insight into our family. And Aunt Frida was always kind of the matriarch. She lived in Highland Park. We lived in Stanton Heights, and you can see in the album there are a lot of pictures of families together and stuff. But she was always described as kind of this bulwark and this tough woman who did what she had to do to keep the family together and all that kind of stuff. And I always had this vague sense that she was very tight with the dollar. But it was just a sense of it. So I think it's 1987. And my grandmother Shari had died, I think, in 1986. 87, I may be off. So it's almost a year after. And Donnie and I and a dear friend of Donnie's go out to the stone cutter. She was buried in the Keysport, the Hungarian cemetery. And Donnie wants to get a stone that is similar to the stone of my grandfather and of Uncle Jay. So Donnie remembers the stone cutter. It's an Italian memorial somewhere near McKeesport. So the three of us take a ride out there. And Donnie tells a situation. He wants a stone that looks like his uncle's stone who had died, or his father's stone who died in 1946, I think, and like his uncle's stone who had died in 1951. So it gives him the approximate dates. And the guy says, well, wait a minute, let me go look in our records. So he comes back 10 minutes later, and he's got a picture of my grandfather's stone and a copy of the bill. And the stone cost $600, and my grandma Shari, who made the arrangements, had to put down a $100 deposit and then paid the other $500 when the stone was delivered. And then he brings out a picture of Uncle Jake's stone. And Aunt Frida had made the arrangements, and her name's on it. There's a picture of the stone. And the stone cost $600. It was 5 years later, but it still cost $600. But Aunt Frida had only put down $25 and had paid the $575 when the stone was done. And then it kind of clicked that Aunt Frida really was tight with the dollar. Even when she was buying a memorial stone for her brother, she'd only put $25. And that was 15 years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but it was like being transported back.
1127 North St. Clair. It brings tears to my heart. I'm looking over this way because I spent so many formative years in that house because my parents couldn't handle me and they threw me off to Pittsburgh on the Greyhound bus. But who remembers the mice that Aunt Frida used to catch? How many times was I scared sleeping in that house? And I was on a twin bed next to the fireplace because there was no room for my Grandma Mitzi. She was on a twin bed and I slept with her. And it was incredible. And this, do you remember those mice? I wouldn't take a bath in that bathtub. I stood in there on tippy toes. And I told my Grandma Mitzi that I took a bath because the mice were just, in their little traps. And how much joy I had from playing with Bonnie, Howard, Reva, the Schwartzes. It's just so incredible, and this has been such an emotional weekend for me. And I wish my Uncle Kenny was here.
Deborah, Aunt Frida's mink.
I don't remember Aunt Frida's mink.
She wore a mink with flats.
But half the reason why I have problems today at 48 years old is because Marty dumped me out of my red wagon when he was riding a bicycle. So that's really all I have to say. I just remembered 1127 of North St. Clair were some of the most formative years of my life, and I felt it was really important to say that because I just have such bonding memories from the cousins, and not to leave out the cottage time that I spent with the Solomons and just my cousins. And I'm sorry, I'm a little verklempt. I don't have my period. I just wanted to say that.
Anyone else want to say something?
No,
I just want to say one thing, and that is that I don't know how my cousins feel about it, and I don't know how the younger generation feels about this, but I think that it would be a mistake and it would be an omission not to recognize the United States of America, who welcomed us and allowed us to be here and do what we did.